I've got a couple of people who are quite ill, but they're having panic attacks with it as well. So we're treating the panic side of it, because when the illness surfaces, they go into fear and then they go into panic. And one particular lady keeps ending up in hospital. So she was so thrilled because last Saturday night, her husband took the boys and her mother came over and stayed in the same bed as her. And when she got to the point where the attack was really strong, where she'd normally go to hospital, she sat, and because it was so intense, she knew if she lost it, she'd be straight back in hospital and it could be dangerous. She really focused, and she used the breathing and the focusing and just really witnessed, and she got through it. Sometimes it takes us to be in a state where things are really squashing us incredibly. It's really very, very either painful, what's another word, discomfort. There's a lot of discomfort, that we really get serious about focusing and doing the practice. And the more you do that, each time you get into a position within yourself or even something external where it's tough or you feel uncomfortable, those skills you can call on at any time, anywhere, and it's empowering. You know that you can get through anything. And what that does, it just brings this sense of freedom within. So when you know that you can manage these things, you don't tend to get the anxiety. You don't tend to have the panic attack. You know you can handle things. So you instantly recognise when something is bubbling up inside you, and you start to practice your practice of mindfulness or breathing or whatever it is. It makes a huge difference to the quality of your life and to your personal power.
Yeah, that makes all sense, really.
And spiritually, because we were you mentioned that before, spiritually we can go so far beyond using it for these practical purposes. And I say that, but spirituality is practical because, it's a part of, it's not out there. We can then, when we're more present, there's more spirit that flows through us in the physical body. So we become more embodied, more human, more in our lives, in our present time, in our relationships, and life is smoother. So often we think of spirituality as out there, but it's not. It's about getting to a state of harmony where the spirit flows within us and we're much more present and mindful.
Quite. And again, not religious necessarily at all, but religions have been, almost all of them have some aspect of mindfulness in them. Whether they call it contemplation or meditation or whatever, they're all mindfulness is part of all that.
They're all just labels, really, aren't they?
They are labels for a state of being.
Because, you could even use a prayer or an affirmation or an invocation. They're all very similar type things.
Well, they're all focusing. The only problem with some of the prayers and things that they're focused on the future, and whereas I think we've found scientifically prayer works better if it's a state of gratitude for what's already here and trust that it's coming in later. But yeah.
Well, I just wrote the word gratitude down on that last break, so that's perfect. So really expressing love, expressing gratitude for everything that we have in our lives, the people in our lives, even the ones that are, plugging us in.
Yes, yeah.
It's having gratitude and really looking with new eyes around you and seeing what you can give thanks for in your life. And it really does bring a feeling of peace back to your life.
Yeah, it does. And it's very much in the present again, isn't it, doing that?
Yeah, gratitude's really important.
Yeah.
And often we don't tend to think like that. We don't think, well, what can I really give thanks for? And giving thanks, can be in many different ways, but really feeling it's important. So not just saying it, but connecting with it and feeling it really deeply within you. And that's what really brings the sense of peace.
So which in turn tends to bring more peace and more things to be grateful for.
Yeah. And then you have a peaceful, easy feeling.
Yeah.
And here's the Eagles.
Here we go.
Welcome back. This is Southern FM 88.3 and Dr. Pete and Christine Hart-Savage. And we're talking about mindfulness. The last couple of minutes we've got left, Pete.
Well, we've talked about the spiritual and the medical side, but we haven't got into personal development so much. And academic, certainly academic skills require attention and mindfulness.
So you would have used that a lot in your study.
You do.
That's where you would have been mindful.
Yep.
With your study for medicine.
But I used to do it all night, so I wasn't too distracted by the other events of the day because I wasn't good at it back then.
It still would have taken quite a lot of focus.
Yeah, it does take focus.
Yeah.
And I think with the Olympic Games reminds us of of how important mindfulness is in a sport, because the higher the level you compete at, the more the chance of distracting thoughts like, I want that gold medal around my neck, and what if I cock it up, and what's going to go wrong? Yeah. So it's very easy for all the fears and anxieties and things to come in on performance, and yet performance, when sports people are performing at their best, they often speak about being in the zone, where they're just almost aware of where the ball's going to go next and know where to be there because their minds are still, there's not that yapping sort of sergeant major in the back of the head of your mind telling you you're screwing up and what you're going to do, what you might do next.
Which makes you worse.
Absolutely worse. And then, so it's when you're mindful and just clearly in the present and watching the ball totally and focused on what you're going to do, it just flows. And I think it's for, whether it be running or sport, golf, any of these sports, even golf where it's slow, it's still dependent entirely on keeping your mind still. And as most would say, the top professionals in all these sporting fields have got the ability. What really what gets to the top of those who are best at concentrating under pressure.
Yeah, is the mind, absolutely. Who's got their mind in the right place.
Got their mind in the right spot.
Who's in harmony and all of that. Amazing. It's very true. So there's many ways when you practice mindfulness or practice these type of practices that you can use them in so many areas of your life. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now I have a breathwork workshop coming up on the 18th, Saturday the 18th of August, which is next Saturday. And you can check that out on my website. And I also have a 5-week evening course, Beyond Stress and Anxiety, where we are doing mindfulness for the 5 weeks. So teaching people about how to do that and a lot of other things with that. So my website is breatheforlife.com.au, as in breathing, and it's BREATHE forlife.com.au. So have a look, and if you'd like to join, please give me a tingle or send me an email.
I think I did that similar course with you a couple of years ago.
Yes, you did.
Mindfulness is very good.
Yes.
Yeah, I could recommend it to would-be
I'd forgotten
mindfulness
you did that.
people.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, have you been good? Have you been practicing?
I won't answer that on the grounds I might incriminate myself.
I thought so. Incredible. I'll have to have a word to you, Pete, after we're off air. So next we have coming up Jeanette with her lovely country music, and she's been smiling at me and waving through the window, and we have the same colour on today, so it must be a blue day.
Nice peaceful blue though.
It is a peaceful blue. Yeah, I don't buy a lot of this colour.
Almost aqua.
Yeah, it is. It's a different sort of blue, but I was attracted to it. Yeah. So we'll be back next week with Mind, Body, Heart and Soul.